Hi, this is Sally's Book Club. Tune in daily as we bring you the best books from around the globe. Today we're diving into the book Freakonomics. This so-called Freakonomics is a revolutionary economic thinking method for analyzing complex social phenomena. If you approach things from an angel's perspective, you might never understand. But look through the devil's lens, and suddenly, it makes sense. The origin story of Freakonomics itself reads like a thriller. The author, Stephen Levitt, had a classmate pursuing a PhD in sociology. Sociology students constantly conduct field research.
This student ventured into Chicago's slums for his study, only to find himself face-to-face with drug dealers in a house. The student broke into cold sweat.
Regaining composure, he explained his true purpose to the gang leader, who surprisingly held a bachelor's degree in management. The leader approved his research within the gang, leading to years of immersion in Chicago's underworld. Years later, the student handed drug trade ledgers to Levitt for economic analysis. Why choose Levitt? By then, Levitt had become an economics professor at University of Chicago, a rising academic star.
Holding these authentic records, Levitt was inspired to make economics more grounded and practical.
This marked his shift from abstract theories to real-world social issues. Like why most drug dealers live with their mothers. Why did U.S. crime rates plummet after the 1990s? Why academic performance varies significantly among ethnic groups. These counterintuitive questions might baffle conventional thinkers. Without Levitt's explanations, these phenomena remain perplexing.
But after today's episode, you'll discover refreshing analytical approaches. Levitt's insights offer practical mental tools to decode social phenomena, tools you might even apply professionally for groundbreaking results.
It's precisely because of this magical appeal that Freakonomics topped the New York Times bestseller list within a month of publication, then swept the globe, remaining a bestseller in China for a decade. Top financial media like The Wall Street Journal, The Economist, TIME, and Harvard Business Review praised it as the most mind-bending economics read.
All right, let's dive into the book.
Freakonomics contains approximately 250,000 Chinese characters. Today's breakdown has two parts. First, we'll explore 5 fascinating social questions from the book showing Freakonomic thinking, then extract 2 key principles as mental tools. Let's begin with part 1. The first provocative question Levitt raises. A daycare center faced chronic late pickups, anxious children, wasted staff resources. What's the solution? They implemented a $3 fine for parents arriving more than 10 minutes late.
Shockingly, late pickups doubled instead of decreasing. Why did the fine backfire? Why did lateness increase?
When conventional explanations failed, Levitt stepped in with his analysis. Levitt argues, without fines, moral pressure kept parents from abusing teachers' time. The $3 fine essentially monetized teachers' overtime. Parents were buying guilt-free lateness. Parents realized $3 bought extra childcare time for errands, a bargain eliminating moral dilemma.
Why not take the deal?
thus the fine intimized lateness. So, what's the fix? Levitt reframed it. Make the transaction unattractive to parents. Put simply, 3 was too cheap. What if parents felt ripped off? With this understanding, the solution becomes clear. Increase fines, try $30 or $100 penalties. Parents would consider this too costly unless extremely wealthy, ensuring punctuality. This first case reveals a fundamental truth. Reward, punishment, systems are basic tools for behavioral management. From households to nations, all social organizations rely on incentive systems for governance. Management effectiveness depends on the fairness and efficacy of these incentive structures. When designing policies, managers must anticipate how subjects will calculate costs, benefits, otherwise outcomes backfire as shown. Take traffic control. Many cities implement license plate restriction policies. How effective? Citizens simply buy more cars to bypass restrictions, paradoxically increasing total vehicles. Authorities, then, implement license lotteries, auctions to limit vehicle numbers. But auctions create road access inequality, favoring the wealthy.
Lotteries push non-drivers to participate, while real users struggle to get permits. Worse consequences emerge: monopolies, black markets, and incalculable social costs.
Alternative solutions like congestion fees, higher parking rates, or pollution taxes might work better. Food for thought. Now to our second case. Cheating in professional sports. Sumo wrestling embodies Japanese culture and samurai spirit, considered morally sacred. Sumo wrestlers hold esteemed social status in Japan. Could this sacred sport harbor cheating? Levitt decided to investigate.
Most Japanese know. Athletes endure harsh training with poor compensation.
The only escape from this predicament is winning annual tournaments. Each promotion multiplies status and benefits exponentially. Each professional sumo wrestler must win 7 out of 13 annual tournament matches to advance. Assume 12 rounds completed, leaving one decisive final match. For wrestlers with 6 wins, this match determines their entire career trajectory. But their opponents might lack similar stakes in this match. Some opponents only have 5 wins. Even with a win here, they can't qualify. Others already secured 7 wins. A loss here wouldn't affect their qualification. Levitt identified strong motives for match fixing. Desperate wrestlers could trade favors for intentional losses. Analyzing historical data. Levitt found 50% win rate wrestlers suddenly achieved 80% in critical matches. Such anomalies clearly indicated hidden manipulations. The revelation caused public outrage in Japan, with accusations of cultural disrespect. Critics claimed foreigners couldn't understand Bushido spirit. 2. Sumo wrestlers then courageously exposed match-fixing schemes, promising press conference evidence. Bizarrely, both died from heart attacks before the scheduled revelation. Police ruled both deaths as natural causes. Levitt concluded. Where major interests exist, cheating inevitably follows.
Moral restraint proves unreliable. What's the solution?
Only through severe penalties that outweigh cheating benefits.
Like government corruption, urban planning and procurement involve huge interests. Moral constraints fail as they failed with daycare parents.
The only effective deterrent is draconian anti-corruption laws making cheating unbearably costly. Corporate executives generally believe multinational corporations operate with market discipline and high ethical standards. Would they cheat? Levitt's analysis suggests corporate performance directly affects stock prices and executive compensation. Falsifying profits can boost stock values, yielding massive bonuses and stock options for executives. Major corporations can temporarily conceal issues, passing accountability to successors.
Given these incentives, corporate fraud cases keep emerging at highest levels. Historical examples include Enron in the US. Recent cases, like Toshiba and Kobe Steel in Japan, all involved multi-year fraud.
Levitt concludes, neither officials nor executives are reliable. Only strict supervision and harsh penalties work. Now consider, are talent show competition fixes real? Try analyzing this through Levitt's lens.
Levitt then tackles Americans' greatest fear, drugs and crime.
Media portrays drug dealing as highly lucrative. Yet most dealers live with parents lacking even basic housing. Why this paradox? Recall the gang ledger story from our opening. Levitt's classmate provided actual drug gang financial records.
Analysis revealed street dealers face 25% annual casualty rate while earning poverty wages. Frontline dealers risk death, imprisonment for less than $1,000 monthly, hence parental cohabitation. Most dealers are impoverished, unable to afford independent housing.
The math seems clear. High risk vs. meaner pay doesn't add up. Then why do ghetto youth still flock to drug trade? Beyond wishful thinking. A key reason is they likely never saw statistical reality up front.
Nobody showed them charts saying, 25 of you 100 will die or be jailed next year. Even survivors would only earn $1,000 monthly.
Would choices differ with full transparency? We shouldn't mock their ignorance. All decisions face information gaps. Calculating cost-benefit seems simple, but requires costly information acquisition. Information isn't free. Gathering data demands significant resources. Like selling property. Where are buyers? What's fair pricing? Without market data, transactions stall. Agents charge commissions. Essentially, information fees. Self-research consumes time. Both options carry high costs.
Sometimes even paid information proves unreliable.
Stock investors buy premium tools and subscriptions, but can't guarantee returns.
Life's decisions mirror Chicago drug dealers' reality, operating behind information curtains.
Success depends not just on smarts, but access to critical data. Now to another crime puzzle. Why did U.S. crime rates plummet post-1990s? Mainstream theory credits increased policing and patrol strategies. But Levitt's data analysis contradicts conventional wisdom. So what really caused the crime rate drop? Levitt argues the fundamental reason is potential criminals were never born. This relates to the 1973 Roe v. Wade case in the U.S. Before this ruling, abortion was illegal in America. The Supreme Court decision granted women legal abortion rights, who were most likely to seek abortions.
Levitt identifies underprivileged women, uneducated, poor, unprepared for motherhood.
Unplanned pregnancies were routine for these groups. Faced with $100 abortion, V's lifelong child care cost rational choice became clear.
Had these children been born, they'd likely repeat generational crime cycles. 25% would die in criminal activities before age 20, victimizing more innocents.
Thus, legal abortion prevented future criminals from being born. Levitt's controversial thesis. This explains 1990s crime decline per Levitt.
The theory sparked outrage. Is this discriminating against poor women?
It implies controlling crime through birth restrictions, dangerously close to eugenics.
Does this deny reproductive rights to the poor? Where's social justice?
Economists often reveal brutal truths through data analysis. Harsh realities make trickling. Economists appear devilish. This, ironically, aligns with the book's title, Freakonomics. Finally, Levitt addresses parenting. How to educate children effectively. Parents obsess over school districts and cram schools, believing these ensure success. Is this really the case? Levitt conducted empirical research on this question. He found 8 out of 16 presumed factors actually had zero correlation with academic performance. Factors like family harmony, museum visits, daily reading, corporal punishment, or TV time showed no impact. None of these factors correlated with children's academic achievements. School districts and tutoring classes showed minimal causal relationship with success. These conclusions are truly eye-opening. What factors actually matter for child development? Key elements include parental education level, socioeconomic status, and home language environment. English-speaking homes, U.S. context, book ownership, adoption status, and parental school involvement. Irrelevant factors shared one trait: what parents do for children. Crucial factors reflected: what kind of person parents are. Correlation doesn't equal causation, but patterns emerge.
Ultimate conclusion: be your best self to inspire children.
Want exceptional kids? First, become exceptional yourself. Let's recap Freakonomics key insights. 1. Daycare fines. Backfired incentives. Require careful design.
2. Sumo, cheating revealed. Where stakes exist, cheating follows. 3. Drug dealers' poverty showed information asymmetry's power.
4th story, crime rate decline reveals. Freakonomics cold logic. Birth control among lower classes reduced crime. Fifth story. Parenting insights show children's success depends on parents' qualities, not just actions. Don't these diverse cases become clearer through Levitt's explanations? Finally, let's examine the book's core principles from two perspectives. First perspective, human motivation, how parents, sumo, wrestlers, and drug dealers make decisions. This leads to the first Freakonomic principle, cost-benefit analysis. Levitt's analytical framework boils down to humans seek maximum benefit at minimum cost. Actions occur when perceived benefits outweigh costs, and vice versa. No rational person knowingly chooses loss-making actions. If observed doing so, only two explanations exist. 1. Hidden benefits unknown to observers. 2. Miscalculations in cost-benefit analysis. Now, examining Levitt's methodology. How does he uncover hidden truths? Second Freakonomic principle, empirical verification, proving causality through data, not assumptions. Many events are merely coincidental occurrences. Superficial correlations, IB, often lack actual causation, like believing rooster crows 'cause sunrise. Empirical test. Remove the rooster. Sun still rises. Applying this to 1990s crime decline. How did Levitt verify his theory? This was a hot-button issue in America, with media and experts offering various explanations. Levitt analyzed these claims and found most were forced correlations lacking empirical validation. For instance, new policing strategies didn't align with crime data timelines. New York's 1,994 policing reforms followed 1,993's 20% crime drop effect preceding cause. How did Levitt validate his theory? Through two-step verification. First, comparing U.S. birth rates with crime curves showed perfect synchronization. 1990s teens were first post Roe v. Wade. Generation reaching crime-prone ages. Second, Romania's 1,966 abortion ban saw a 1970s crime surge as restricted birth cohort matured. This bidirectional evidence confirmed abortion policy's causal relationship with crime rates. No conclusion stands without data. Verification. Correlation not equal causation. Like parenting factors, surface-level correlations often mislead without statistical proof. These complete the two Freakonomic principles. When encountering paradoxes, think like a Freakonomist. First, analyze cost-benefit motivations behind choices. Then verify conclusions through data or reconsider their validity. That concludes our Freakonomics breakdown. Full notes below. See you tomorrow.